What's up guys, Nightingale here, and welcome to another Beginner's Handbook video. Today, we're debating Clarissa and Alexa. Now, why are we doing this is because this is one of those more commonly asked questions of who do I replace or who do I use in my wyvern team? I have both, which one's better? Well, it's subjective and it also depends upon what your wyvern team is. Now, there is a bias here, as you can see, because my Clarissa will be geared and my Alexa is not. I replaced Clarissa from Alexa. So, for me, I found more value in Clarissa. 2, she just does the job better. And 3, I just like Clarissa over Alexa. I'm sorry. But this could change in the future. If you're watching this later on, maybe Alexa gets a specialty change. If you're watching that, then maybe this is a different story. But for today, she has no specialty change. It's not on the bench. It's not like we know it's coming. But for right now, we're looking at them exactly as is. Well, they happen to share the same astrological sign, so that means they share the same resources. This is the first thing we want to point out. Why is this important? Is because of the amount of resources they take. So, if we were to assume we're maxing the unit out, which you don't, with Alexa, she's going to take 8,100 stigma. It's par for the course for a 3-star. But for leveling up her skills, she's going to take 36 twisted fangs. Now keep this in mind. This is the same materials that your Arbiter Vildreds take, which is why this is a little expensive just in general. A lot of your wyvern units happen to be using this material. And because she's also a 3-star, she's going to require 26 frost runes, 21 greater frost runes, 10 epic runes, and then she's going to need 9 Ultra Fangs and 6 Blazing Souls for her 6-star catalysts. Now, the downside is with Alexa, her imprint is flat attack and team flat attack, so she's not really giving you a whole lot of bump. Yeah, sure, it might help you a little bit, but her imprint is kind of useless. Now, with Clarissa being a 4-star unit, she will require molas. But if you're using her in wyvern only and not trying to make her work in some random one-shot comp, which is not something that you should be dealing with or concerned about if you're watching this video, she takes 27 molas to fully plus 15. She's going to need 12 Twisted Fangs for her skills, and then she will also need 6 Blazing Souls for her skills. Now, with hers, because she's a 4-star, her runes are going to be 37 Frost Runes, 18 Greater Frost Rune, 14 Epics, 12 Ultra Fangs, and 8 Blazing Souls. Now, here's the good news. Her imprint is actually very good for your team. It's attack percent. So a triple S Clarissa on your team is putting down a lot of extra attack for your overall team. Unfortunately, her self-imprint is garbage with dual attack chance. Absolutely, completely worthless. Now, some of you might be able to make, oh, I can make it work. Cool, good for you. Go have a cookie. Now, one thing to note is she will need her exclusive equipment to be functioning properly in wyvern. The one that's most recommended, which I will show you here in just a minute, is the one that gives her skill 1 the ability to apply bleeds, which is very, very helpful because bleeds equal more damage. So let's jump in and take a look at each unit, and we're going to talk about their kits in a little more depth. So first off, let's start with Alexa. As you can see, mine's triple S imprinted. All your 3-stars should be, because as you imprint your units and slowly build them up, when you get them triple S, it works on an achievement, which allows you to get bookmarks. And once you have a triple S, you keep leveling them up because, remember, they give bookmarks. And then once you've triple S'd a second one, you can blow it up and get silver transmit stones. Now, here's the thing. I messed mine up in the beginning. I wasn't paying attention. So you do not want to set yours up how mine is right now, which is why she's in a weird place. Most of you, when you're using Alexa, you want to set it up like this. Skill 1 is absolutely probably where most of you should max this one out. It's not that bad, and it's not super, super expensive to max out. This is where most of the damage will come from, is between her skill 1 and her skill 2. Now, this is the important thing, because this is where people mess up with Alexa. She needs to make sure that you have 65% effectiveness so that you can land these poisons. She is a debuffer for your team. While yes, she can deal damage, you do have to build her quite specific for that as well. But you do want to make sure she has the 100% chance to land the poison debuffs. She is great, and the poisons do a lot of damage to the wyvern, but do note that she does need a lot of crit damage as well, just to be dealing extra damage. So if you're going to be using her just for debuffs, she needs to have at least 65% effectiveness, and you will want, you know, decent crit damage, crit chance, and some attack, but that's going to also kind of lean into your other stats a little bit, and I'll explain why in a second. Now, most people, when playing the game, you think the skill 3 is their most big skill that they need to have and level up. Right. I did too. I also wasn't paying attention. I thought I was on this skill when I did it, and I accidentally leveled this skill, not thinking twice about it. And this actually messes up Alexa, and here's why. Because with the way it works and the way the cooldowns go, 3 turns. If you reduce the cooldowns 4 turns, you could actually squeak in 2 of these more often and not have this go off as much. So if this was been 5 turns, I could technically get in another S2 more often. Well, now because I'm getting that S3 off a turn earlier, I'm now delaying my S2 another turn, which with Wyvern, debuffs are typically an issue. The poison only lasts for 2 turns. So instead of me dropping just a turn, I'm now pushing it 2 turns further back by having that messed up. So if you have leveled this, you haven't spent a lot, you might be able to get away with restarting an Alexa, but if you've already put a lot into her, it's not worth starting over an Alexa if you've done this. Now, if you have, here's what you can do. Scrap the effectiveness, go full damage, turn her skills off, and let her just use her skill 1. And hope that you can chunk a lot of damage with this. Now, the main artifact you're going to want to use on her is Daydream Joker. It's going to do really, really well. Make sure you have one on your main DPS and then one on her. She's an overall good unit, but she just isn't as consistent as Clarissa, and it doesn't give as much utility as she does. So if we go over to Clarissa now, let's take a look at her kit. Now, as you can see, I have her invested. I use her all the time. I'm waiting till a rainy day or to see if I'm going to be getting the one-shot comp going sooner before I invest into the Final Awakening here. Just because it is very helpful, don't get me wrong, it is very helpful. It is percent attack, which is huge, but with my team and where it's at and how consistent it is, I don't really need it. And here's why. Is with my Clarissa, we've achieved 65% effectiveness right here. So she's applying debuffs. We have her exclusive equipment with, which is giving us the bleeds on her skill 1. And as well as I'm using Junkyard Dog for just extra debuff protection. In Wyvern 13, it is more important to have debuffs than it is to not have any debuffs. So whether it be if I'm just happen to miss and I miss the defense breaks, I miss the bleeds and the burn lands, great. Somebody else will be taking a turn and I'll probably get the debuff. Or if I happen to miss something random, I'm guaranteeing myself, you know, debuff redundancy here, which is fine. It's okay. If you don't have this, I believe the artifact that you could use is, we're going to go right here. I believe it is Sigrid's artifact, Cradle of Life, I believe is its name, which is a warrior artifact. And it's right here. Yes, Cradle of Life, which is roughly the same thing. So it is a 70% chance at max limit break, but don't look at that because most of you aren't going to have this. You're going to probably have the plus 15, which is a 35% chance to inflict 1 random debuff for 1 turn, decrease attack, decrease hit chance, poison, and bleeding. All of those apply to the Wyvern. Perfect artifact if you don't have Junkyard Dog. I do. I'm not using it, so it was the perfect artifact for me to put on her and guarantee myself a little safety net. If you don't have it, and you don't have either one of those, Daydream Joker. I mean, it's not going to be as efficient, but it works. She's not going to be doing as much damage, but that's okay. It's any extra helps, but this is more the recommended. There's probably a few others you could go to as well, depending on what you have in your inventory. As far as what I have, I don't think I've really got anything that would make too much. So we've just had this event. I don't necessarily think I would put this on her. I think Daydream Joker's more valuable overall. I wouldn't put Portrait on her. I don't need hit chance. I don't really need this. I don't need the ability to dispel anything because she shouldn't be getting attacked. Decreased damage received. Again, Tonfa is cheap portrait. You don't really need that. Cursed Compass, again, you've already burnt this by the time you start. And Prophetic Candlestick. Again, you're not being attacked, so it doesn't really work. So Junkyard Dog, or honestly, at the beginning, just put Ancient Sheath on it if you don't have anything. Why is that different than Alexa? Because Alexa needs the Daydream Joker. Because the way her damage, and since you'll be putting crit damage into her, it scales off. The Daydream Joker scales off crit damage, where here, you're thinking more debuffs. Now, can you build a very damaging Clarissa? Absolutely, you can. But let's talk about her skills and why all of this is important. So, first off, she has an AoE. An AoE defense break. Great for round 1. Because if she can land it on those initial wyverns, now keep in mind, she's not going to go first. She's probably going second on your team. But that's fine. Furious hopefully will defense break the big guy, and she can or she can defense break the 2 smaller minions, which is great. Then she's also applying bleeds. Perfect. That's extra stats. And it's okay if this skill is up when you start, because you're actually after her skill 1. Now, if you notice, I don't have the passive built up because I just don't need it. For what I'm doing, I don't need this. Now, sure, this would be great when it procs her passive. So if you wanted the extra damage, this could help you later on down the road. But for where I'm at, I don't really need it. Now, here, I could, if I really, really wanted to, and I felt like I wanted to just increase my runs a little bit more, I could probably max this out. But I took it to the point where I felt it was appropriate, which was just getting all the effect chance to make sure that we have a better chance at defense breaking. This has saved my butt more times than I can imagine, having this skill defense break and bleed and put me back into perfect debuffs and not randomly killing somebody. Because occasionally with my Luluka, we will miss. We'll get 15%ed with her, we'll get 15%ed with Sigrid, and Clarissa will come in and save the day. So my turn order is, it goes, Luluka goes first, then Clarissa, then typically General Purgus, then Sigrid. Now, obviously, with getting pushed up and all that stuff, they can get out of that normal order, but that's right now the speed order that they are tuned to. I think Luluka is 190, she's 170 something, like 177. She's 177. General Purgus is 140, and Sigrid's down in like the 120 snail pace. So you definitely want to have more speed on her because you do want her to go off. Now, could you, in theory, have her go turn 1? Yes. There's nothing wrong with that. But most of you who are using Furious probably want her to go turn 2 so that she has the crit rate buff and she'll have 100% crit. Great. More damage. Now, with all of that, this is kind of going to be the personal choice. Is she technically the better option? Yes. But if you don't want to invest in the mola cost, because understandable, it's extra molas and you've got other things you want to work on. But if you're struggling with Wyvern and you're struggling with debuffs, this is definitely the go-to character that you can gain a lot of ground with. As you can see, I'm running her on random crap gear. She doesn't even have 3,000 attack. I've hit the effectiveness marker. I've hit 65% on my crit rate. I'm good. I'm golden. It works. We've got the effectiveness. We have everything we need here, and she just works. Same could be said with Alexa. Now, I didn't have Alexa built at the time of General Purgus, because all this happened at once, so I can't technically say that because of Clarissa, I beat Wyvern 13 consistently, or was it General Purgus? It all happened within 48 hours. I built her to 6 stars and General Purgus to 6 stars on the way it came out. So I can't actually say that Clarissa or Alexa would have worked better. I just prefer overall the kit and the functionality of Clarissa over Alexa. And to any of you who are going to use Alexa, there's nothing wrong with it. Make sure she's built very damaging. She's got a lot of damage. And she's got the effectiveness. If you can land both, then you can keep the skills on and let her go do a lot of damage. You can go watch videos of people out there who have made very, very, very damage-dealing Alexas. It's out there, it exists, but there are better options. So, that's going to take care of it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.